Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I let it run too long and got cut off. This YouTube video stuff doesn't want you to have long videos on here. So I was in the middle of chapter 11, which is Trump for President, Part 2. Now, and we are discussing Michael Cohen's book, Disloyal, a memoir, the true story of the former personal attorney to President Donald J. Trump. It's a mouthful. So anyway, Michael was always pushing Trump to run for president. He was the one that was really, he was really pushing him to do it, and he had been talking to him about it for 10 years. So anyway, by the end of 2014, Michael wanted to leave and go off on his own, but the only thing that was keeping him from doing that was that he thought that Trump would run for president in 2016, and if he did, he wanted to be on that gravy train, right? So, so the reason that he didn't run in 2012 was because he was afraid of Obama. I don't blame him. So so then Obama's gone, right? And unfortunately, and he's saying, Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz, they just couldn't stand up to him because he's such a liar. He spews this shit out of his mouth, and everybody is so aghast that they don't know what to say. It's like, how? Really? Anyway, so he keeps working on him to run for president, and then he keeps saying, okay, so let's see, New Year's Eve. The day after New Year's Eve in 2015, he requested a sit down with Trump, and he said, "Are we doing it?" And Trump said, "Yes." He went immediately and to the office and started working to his office and started working on the phones. And all I'm going to do in this video is finish this chapter because I got to go outside and do some stuff. He called his friend at the New York Times, and he got with David Pecker at the National Enquirer. He got with Hannity, and he got with CNN, MSNBC, CBS, George Stephanopoulos at ABC, and Vanity Fair, and all those people to tell them that Trump was running for president in 2016. And, because their contact list on their phones, Michael was so in tune and in step with Trump that their contact list were just, exactly the same. So Trump had he had every number in his phone that Trump had on his. Let's see. Okay, so Trump talks about self-stroking, let's see, what does it say? Soaking up, ego stroking. He constantly craved ego stroking. You had to pet him and fawn over him and flatter him all the time. That's how insecure he is. So, Trump also said he wanted to try to self-fund the campaign, but Trump is so cheap. Anywhere he goes, he gets press. So he didn't even have to spend anything really. There was no way he was going to spend his own money. He's too cheap. And he also was less liquid than people think. Personally, I think he's broke, but he said he didn't want to take money from a super PAC. Well, a billionaire can't ask for $5 from people, right? So he said, I'll do it on the cheap, but I'll self-fund the primary. And then, because he said he knows that they'll get all the free press that they want, so. Okay, please read over. Okay. And this is a quote, okay? "I don't need to spend a lot of money because we'll get all the free press we want," end quote. Yeah, they're saying Donald Trump's presidency is a result of free press and unpaid for. So, the live rallies, the back-to-back, the tweets, the stupid interviews, 24/7 wall-to-wall coverage. That's how he got it, And, Biden needs to get out there. Oh, okay, so like the tabloids, the television, the radio, internet, Facebook, that's who elected Trump. But he was in league with the Russians. And so he exploited all the greed of the journalist. So, and he's a chaos. He is a master at he's a master of getting people to listen to him. And I'll tell you something about narcissists. They are charming. Charming like they can charm snakes. Like, it's not necessarily a compliment to say that someone's charming. That means, like, put a charm on people. It's not really a compliment. So, and the media, it didn't see that they were being played. And Michael thinks that Trump's net worth is ridiculously inflated, maybe $2 billion. But I'm telling you, I don't think so. Remember how everybody thought Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire? Well, he had 700 and something million. He wasn't a billionaire. I mean, I'm not sneezing at, or scoffing at $700 million in any way, but I'm telling you, it's not a billion. So, yeah, and again, Trump mocked Obama's education, but if anybody wanted to see Trump's transcripts, Michael called every school that Trump went to and threatened them that those are to remain sealed. Michael says he started to believe his own lies, just like Trump does. That's what narcissists do. They tell things over and over and over and over. And finally, you start to believe your own bullshit. Just like being a self-made man. Trump wasn't a self-made man. His father gave him the money, then he lost it all. And then he lied about it, and, he's saying he needed an intervention. Michael needed an intervention because he was addicted to Trump. It's like having a bad boyfriend and not being out. Your whole family sees how bad this guy is for you, and you just won't listen. And it's an illness. And, the family that loves and cares for you, like Michael's, they hated what Trump was doing to their dad and their husband. So, oh, here comes Roger Stone, man. Self-styled ultra-villain is what Michael calls him. And his sidekick is Sam Nunberg. Is Sam Nunberg the witness that Roger Stone threatened? Is he the one with the little dog? And I'll get you and your little dog too. Okay, so Roger Stone is really, really out there. He wears, Michael says he wears chaps without any pants on underneath them. Well, no chaps have, you have to wear pants with chaps because they're buttless. But he wore them in the Gay Pride Parade without anything on underneath them. So I don't know what Roger Stone's story is. Oh, he called apparently Roger Stone called Reverend Al Sharpton's daughter the N-word. That's why Sam fired Sam. I mean, that's why Trump fired Sam. Or partly. But then I think Sam Nurnberg went to work for somebody else in that same company, but just not on the campaign. So Hope Hicks was in there early on the scene. She worked for Ivanka, and she was good at keeping track of Trump's schedule. I think she was 25. Michael really liked her, and let's see, they needed a campaign manager. So here comes Corey Lewandowski, and the reason they hired Corey Lewandowski is because the campaign managers wanted $200,000 a month, and they wanted up front for a full year. They wanted to be paid up front for a full year. So what's that? $2.4 million up front. That's what they wanted up front. Lewandowski said no. Trump didn't want to spend a dime of his own money, and Trump didn't want to pay retail. And Corey came in boasting an inflated sense of himself, inflated, a fake resume and all that kind of crap. But he would work on the cheap. So Michael didn't like Lewandowski from the first time he ever saw him. He said he has an ex-cop swagger. he said Lewandowski's a real genius. He carried a loaded handgun in a laundry basket full of dirty clothes into a federal building and through the metal detector. Really? Michael says he hated him, and Corey hated Michael. So, yeah, boy, Michael doesn't like him. So anyway, then this is when Hope Hicks started. Hope and Corey started an affair, and he, like I said earlier, he has 5 kids and a wife. Trump wanted a big crowd. Okay, so now they're talking about where they're going to do the announcement, and he doesn't want. Okay, so. So they're talking about what they're going to do for entertainment. Like an elephant. Well, it was inside downstairs in Trump Plaza Hotel, I think, the lobby of the Trump Tower. That's where he came down on the escalator, and he didn't want balloons. But yeah, so. But all Trump wanted was a big crowd, and he wanted the press there. So, okay, so there were like 500 people there, but Donald really wanted a big crowd, so they paid extras, $50 a piece to show up. Oh, and they put them in Trump T-shirts, and that was a guaranteed background. Okay. Okay, so Corey shows up there. Michael shows up with Stephanopoulos, and Stephanopoulos can't believe the shit that's coming out of Trump's mouth. He's like, for real? Down, he came in the escalator. Yeah, he went on an hour-long verbal vomit, that had, he was just, this is when he said that the Mexicans were rapists and they're giving us their bad guys, and And it was just bullshit, and Stephanopoulos was like, he was just dumbfounded. Michael's cringing, calling Donald a force of nature. So all these people are just fawning all their admiration. They're all suck-ups. And Trump is in a bubble. He doesn't get what's going on outside the bubble. Yeah, it's like it was unbelievably cowardly and hypocritical, is what Michael's response was, because he just kept sucking up to him too. Samantha was furious. Samantha is a political science major, and she said that she knows more how the world works than Trump does. Samantha said that she would make a better president than Trump was. Well, you know what? So would I. I'm just saying, I would make a better president than Trump. I mean, I'm honest. I'm trustworthy. I listen to people. I would delegate, and also, no, I don't want to run. But he isn't qualified. I'm not qualified either, but I would still be a better president than Trump. He's really disappointed, and he's sad that his kids are so disappointed in him. And and see here, the other backlash and the reason that we got Trump was because there are so many racist people in this country, white supremacists. Right, white supremacy reigns, I'm telling you, and it pisses me off. But, there's a lot of uneducated people out there, and they don't like black people. And so Obama's president, and they couldn't believe it. I mean, so Trump was it's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg says that our politics is like a pendulum. It swings one way, and then it swings the other way. Well, it's swung too far to the right for everybody. So, anyway, God, this is a long chapter. Really long. I don't want to run out of time again. Okay, so now the Trump kids didn't. Who was it that Trump they don't like? I think it was Lewandowski. And so Ivanka says that the campaign's killing the company, and that they were losing millions. And Trump knows he's never going to get the Hispanic vote. But do you know that now he's got the Hispanic vote? I can't even imagine. Oh yeah, he calls the head of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in to have a meeting with him, and the guy hates Trump. He's like, I gotta I gotta get trouble. And Trump never prepares for anything. Okay, now you know who didn't prepare for anything but was great? Dean Martin. Dean Martin ad-libbed everything. He never ever rehearsed, and he wasn't drunk. He didn't really have a martini. He doesn't read. He doesn't look at reports. He just fakes his way through. He fakes his way through his whole life. Oh, and he tells Javier Javier is Palomares. Javier Palomares is the head of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and he tells them, 2 of my ex-wives are immigrants, or 2 of my 3 wives are immigrants. And Javier Palomares just thinks what a bullshit artist, you know, because that's what he is. He had his number. Let's see here. Something. Okay, so Lewandowski and Michael were always head to head. So would Michael didn't work for the campaign. Michael was Trump's lawyer, so he didn't. And Lewandowski worked for the campaign, so Lewandowski really didn't have any say over Michael. He couldn't tell him what to do. So Michael would have regular appearances on Fox, all these different networks, and it really pissed Lewandowski off because he was jealous of him and he wanted to try to control him. But here's where they're talking about also. Let's see. Okay, so I was talking earlier about Trump's hair, how he flips it all the way up. Let's see. He flips it all the way this way, and then he does it all the way this way, and then he bends it in half and combs it back down here. The flip flop flap is what they call it. So there's some okay. So Ivana Trump, like I said earlier, was pissed because Ivana suggested what plastic surgeon to go to get the hair implants, and he got pissed off, and I think that's why he supposedly raped her. And somebody says, I didn't know it was possible to rape your own wife. Well, yeah, it is. Here's Michael. Truly, sincerely sorry. No matter how sincere, it doesn't erase my action. It doesn't take away his responsibility or his conduct, for his conduct. Lewandowski told Michael he was in the penalty box. Yeah, really. So Michael and Sean Hannity were really close. That's how Trump got so involved with Sean Hannity. So, you know, before Donald became the Republican nominee, Sean didn't want to. You know, there were all these other people running in the field, right? And so Sean didn't want to say, "Oh yeah, Trump's my favorite," in case Trump didn't become the nominee. So. And also, he was cheating on his wife, too. And he would say, there's just too many women in the world. There are just too many beautiful women in the world not to cheat on your wife. But anyway, so Michael got Hannity call Trump and tell him that he was really behind him all the way, but that he just couldn't say so yet. And so that happened. And also, Hannity told Trump that Lewandowski was a quote unquote piece of shit and a liar. Oh, then Megyn Kelly, remember that? I mean, she went after him and she got to him, and that's when he pretty much accused her of being on her period. Its blood's coming out of everywhere. What a dick! God. Yeah, I mean, she was like, why are you calling these women fat pigs and dogs and all this? And then he just went for a throat, you know? And so then they made, Roger Ailes got involved, and they made Megyn Kelly sit down and suck up to Trump, you know, on another interview. She had to play nice. And the reason why Roger Ailes got in touch with Trump to make him... Roger Ailes was also a sexual predator, by the way. I think everybody knows that. But the reason why that Megyn consented to having an interview where she sat back and was Miss Nice Guy was because there were people threatening her life and her family's life. And she had young children, and she had to leave her home and go live in a hotel because she was afraid. And so she was in hiding with her children. Yeah, so he had bullied a journalist and incited violence. And, you know, he said Trump is a mobster, plain and simple. So, well, that, you guys, is chapter 11. So tomorrow we'll take up chapter 12, and apparently I can do about, well, that was a pretty long chapter, so see how far we get tomorrow, okay? Hey, hit the like button. You know what to do. Subscribe. I need subscribers. Okay, love you guys. Take care. Bye.